Okay, guys, let's take a look at the second method that we were talking about with these least common multiples. We just showed you if we took a calendar and looked at what was going on how we would come up with a solution, and we said that it would be some 28 days. So let's see, can we look at it mathematically? Well, again, we're looking at this veterinarian at an animal clinic, and he's on call every 4 days. So we're assuming that today is Saturday, and the veterinarian is on call. So we want to know how many more days will it be when the veterinarian will be on call on Saturday again. So let's take a look at method 2, which is making a list. So the first thing we want to do is we want to list the multiples of each number. So we want to list the multiples. We're going to list the multiples of each number. And what number we're referring to is 4 and 7. So what are the multiples of 4? And we need to know what are the multiples of 7. Okay, so let's go. So, well, 4 times 1, 4. 4 times 2, 8. 4 times 3, 12. 4 times 4, 16. 4 times 5, 20. Okay, 4 times 6, 24. 4 times 7, 28. And 4 times 8, 32, and so on. Okay, well, what are the multiples of 7? Okay, well, 7 times 1, 7. 7 times 2, 14. 7 times 3, 21. 7 times 4, 28. 7 times 5, 35. 7 times 6, 42. 7 times 7, 49. And 7 times 8, 56. And of course, so on. Now, if we look at our list, we are trying to find a multiple that appears first in both lists. Once we succeed with doing this, we will see that this is the least common multiple of both 4 and 7. So let's go back through our list and see if we can find such a number. So I'm looking and I'm comparing, and I see 28 and I see 28. So, and the number comes before any other number, and that could be other multiples, but 28 is the first number that appears in both lists. So this is telling me that the least common multiple of 4 and 7 is 28. Okay, so it's just that simple. And this is how you would go ahead and try to construct the least common multiples. It could be a little, well, you know, a little time consuming, but you know, you want to make sure that you're not leaving any stones unturned by not doing so. So again, strategy for it, we have one more method that we want to take a look at, and I will show you that shortly. Okay, see you soon. Let's take a look at this final method to solve this veterinarian problem at his call. So we've looked at just drawing a simple picture, which is a calendar, and then actually charting the days. That's a good strategy. Remember, you know, drawing a picture is a very good option. If all else fails, drawing a picture, working the problem, I see nothing wrong with that at all. Second method, we said we would make a list, and this is a list of multiples for each number. And remember, we're talking about multiples. Now we're talking about what numbers, multiples, like 4 times 1 times 2 times 3 and so forth, and 7 times 1 times 2 times 3 and so forth. So now we want to use something that you should be familiar with, because we worked on it a little bit in class, and this is called prime factorization. So we want to write the prime factorization of each number. Now, what I didn't do in class, and I'm not going to do it here because we have not talked about exponents, so I'm not going to write this in an exponent fashion. I'm going to write it just straight out factored. So if we look at 4, so we want to write the prime factorization of each number. That's the first thing we want to do. So let's put that 1. We want to write the prime factorization. We want to write the prime factorization of each number. Okay, so let's start with 4. So the prime factorization of 4, it should be familiar to you. The prime factorization of 4 is 2 times 2. And we know it's a prime factorization because both 2 and the other 2, the only other factors they have is 1 times 2. So it is a prime number. Okay, so let's take a look at the prime factorization of 7. Well, believe it or not, the only thing 7 have is actually 7 times 1. So we don't necessarily have to put the 7 there because the only thing is 7 times 1. So we'll just leave the 7. Now, what we want to do is you want to take this and look at the, well, we're not going to look at the powers because again, we'll talk about that later. So now, looking at the prime factorization of these two numbers, we see 2 times 2, which is 4 times 7, and again we're back to 28. Okay, so looking at 2 different methods, actually 3 different methods, one was just really a chart, we still come up with the term 28. So we can come to the assessment in 28 days. The veterinarian will be on call again on Saturday. Just really wanted you guys to take a look at that and see exactly how that works, and you know, hopefully you get a pretty decent concept. Now, what I want you to do for me is I want you to work a couple examples. Now you know how I work it. You know, if you choose, bring them to class and you know, we have a little something for you. So we want to find the least common multiple. So find the LCM, or the least common multiple, of, let's do 32. Find the least common multiple of 96, and find the least common multiple of 120. So again, find the LCM of 32, 96, and 120. Okay? Bring those with you, and let's see how well you studied these videos. I'll see you soon.